In 2013, I did my Vagabond Chef project. That's when I got it started. And I rode my motorcycle 13,000 miles across the country, researching different restaurants and culinary communities and finding out what they were doing, how they were doing it, and why they were doing it that way. And folks always want to know, like, what was your favorite stop or what you like the most? And that's pretty much impossible. Like, there's so many great experiences during that whole year. But definitely on top of the list, one of my favorites was when I was in Lafayette, Louisiana. So I just happened to come into town on a night when they were doing this roving benefit dinner. And it was hosted by one chef at his restaurant. This evening it was at Johnson's Boucherie, I believe is how it's pronounced. And then another chef from the community would come out and help, and they would do this special tasting menu to help out a local charity. Well, so I show up, I get picked up by Chef Jeremy, I remember, from my hotel. We went and we do this gig, and like all the cooks and all the chefs from across town came to help execute this meal. And it was some really high level stuff, like tweezers were coming out, but at the same time we were drinking Miller High Life and Evan Williams whiskey, and it was just such a really cool community and sense of camaraderie and what was going on, and it just has always stuck with me. So after I came back home to West Virginia, started the Vagabond Kitchen, I realized that I had traveled all over the world in our country, but like I kind of felt like I'd neglected my own backyard. So in September of 2015, I took a 10-day trip across the state. My goal was to see as much as I could and not get on the interstates and not leave the boundaries of the state. So that got to be really challenging at times, but that was the whole point. And on that trip, I got to meet a lot of really cool cooks and chefs and people doing really great stuff in our state. And I saw some of that same sense of like renaissance that I had seen in the rest of the country. So it became a goal of mine to recreate that feeling of camaraderie and community that I felt that night in Lafayette. And I started to loosely work with some of the folks that I had met. We called ourselves West Virginia Cooks. And now I've got to travel all over working with different folks. Michael Brown and Ann Hart in Clarksburg, Tim and Melody Urbanik down in Clow, West Virginia, Libby Knoll, and today we're going to go check out what MK Olinger has happening at Riffle Farms. Now, you may have seen some footage from Riffle Farms from our Recipes and Roadmaps project, but this is a bison farm in the heart of Preston County in West Virginia, and they do amazing stuff there. This is an annual event that MK's been doing. I think this is the third year now, and something I've wanted to be a part of every year, and it's just never quite happened. So somehow this year we were able to pull it off, and we want to show you guys and share with everyone all the awesome things happening here. All right, so only place in the country doing a bison on a spit.
Yes.
And this is a bison.
That is a bison, yes.
This was that yesterday morning.
Technically it was, yes. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Right here, so.
And how many pounds was this animal?
So this animal live weight was about 800 pounds. We're saying 850, yeah.
And we're gonna end up with how much like finished product at the end of the day?
So meat that you can eat is a little bit different than what it weighs right now on the spit is about 400 pounds, which is pretty significant to try and throw on a spit and then get it to rotate appropriately so that it cooks through, especially because it's got the hump. So it's a little different than doing like a pig roast, right?
Yeah,
so a pig is pretty round.
Cylindrical.
All the way around, yes, exactly. The bison has the hump.
Right.
And so that makes it really tough to smoke on a spit like that sometimes.
Yeah.
So that's about 400 pounds or so on there right now. So.
And how do you get it up there?
Oh, like 5 men.
Yeah.
And a tractor.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was. It's always tough to get her on there real good, but we figured out a few different tactics to get her on there so that she rotates nicely and nothing's falling off and things like that.
Yeah. Well, and I know it's super important to you to harvest the animal in a very humane way. That's part of the reason why you do it on the farm, right?
Right.
As opposed to transporting it.
Oh my gosh, heck yeah. Yeah, we are really big into field harvesting all of our animals, and we definitely like to showcase that for others. And so we did like the butchery class yesterday, or I should say the field harvest class is what we did. We have the folks come up to actually watch how we do that and how we get it on the spit and things like that, because I believe that transparency means a lot to people. It means a lot to me. I want to know where my meat's coming from. I want a high quality product, and that's how you get a high quality product. And so we like to showcase that type of stuff.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a powerful piece that people are missing a lot these days, and a lot of people don't realize what goes into what they eat.
Oh, gosh.
And then you get a chance to actually eat it, and you see the value that comes out of that. And I think that's a really important, and it can be revelatory to folks who have not experienced it before.
I agree, and I have had that experience, with folks coming up here. They're just like, wow, I didn't even know it took so much to do that, or what, that's a big animal, and you bring it to a facility and have it all carved up. You don't get to see like the weight and the magnitude of what actually it takes to put it on your plate, and this really puts that in perspective.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, it's heavy in more ways than one.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We're getting set up. We've got some beautiful bread. We've got the charcuterie out, and we're going to have a buffet line with all these delicious items on it, and a carving station with the bison. Now this one looks like, that's your bison marker?
Yeah.
That's awesome. This is Kimmy with Heinerman Farm, right?
Yeah, Heinerman Hill Farm.
Heinerman Hill Farm. We're putting out this gorgeous bread right now.
Yeah, thank you.
So tell me a little bit about the making of this bread and what you do with the farm.
So we really believe in knowing what goes into our products. So we do pasture-raised poultry, chicken, turkey, quail, rabbits, and ducks.
Yeah.
And so when we started with that, I kind of realized all the other stuff that was in our food, hence the bread. So when I started making the bread, I realized the ingredient list at the store was a mile long.
Sure.
And so even though it takes a really long time to make a loaf of sourdough, it's so rewarding, and it's my creative outlet because I get to make them look pretty. I didn't even know about so many opportunities in our state that happen for artisan makers and handcrafted items that I didn't even know about till I started making sourdough. So.
Right. Yeah, and you just don't know what you're missing when you don't know what you're missing.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm thankful to so many things that you've done, because it shines light also in our community, because they, you could be somewhere way down south in the state, but they shine a light back on Wheeling.
Yeah, and that's the whole goal, is to just get the story out to more people, what's going on, why it's going on.
Right.
And it's quality. It's choosing quality over convenience at the end of the day.
Yep. And it might take a little bit longer to make something, but the end result is so much more rewarding and satisfactory over that quick fix.
Right. It's like eating to live versus eating to thrive.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yes.
That's good stuff. Cheers, man.
Here we go. There's nothing like a shot of whiskey at the end of your third 18-hour day in a row. When it's pouring down the rain, the temperature's plummeted 40 degrees.
Right.
And you've just pulled off a 10-course dinner for 150 people in a barn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
It ain't bad.
Well, but it's wild, the amount of work that goes into this, the amount of work that goes into this farm, the amount of energy that went into the animal that we ate today, let alone all the other food. I mean, we're so distanced from the actual true cost of things, because big agribusiness is subsidized, and we're used to this big machine, and it separates us from the reality of the food and the work that goes into it.
Well, this is both our 18th year as a farm-to-table food institution, whatever we are anymore. And now we no longer have a brick and mortar. And it's also the 18th year of our farm-to-table farm dinner series that we've been doing since way before this was hip or cool or anybody really knew about it. And the really sad thing to say about this is people have less understanding of where their food is coming from now than they did 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's absolutely, I don't want to say that. I hate to say that, but it is true. You know, that's,
But I think that's
slipping.
That's a big reason to do these events, to do these videos, is to show people what's really going on and what you have access to by supporting a movement like this, and real food, real cooks.
Yep.
It's a choice. I've been saying to several folks today, it's a choice of quality over convenience.
Yes.
And convenience is easy. It sells. We all get sucked into that. But quality is what you want to choose. Quality makes your life bigger. It makes your life more worthwhile. It just takes more effort.
Yeah, that's absolutely for sure. I mean, we're farm to fork, not freezer to fryer.
Right.
Which is like 90% of the food out there that you go to a chain restaurant to get is freezer to fryer, or freezer to microwave, or
Well, and people are breaking further and further away from cooking at home to eating at home, where now they're getting an experience that they used to get in their own home kitchen. They're getting that in restaurants.
Very true. Dude, I'm doing cooking classes on things that I never could have imagined I would need to teach. It's like the things I take for granted that your grandma taught you when you were a kid.
Yeah.
People aren't being taught by their grandmas anymore.
So look, the moral of the story is, when you come across these events, go to these events.
Yes,
if you can participate, participate. If you come as a guest, be a guest. But you need to get in touch with your food and where it comes from and how it's prepared.
Yeah, nobody ever asks me questions when I'm sharp. You ask me when I'm tired and drunk, and I just go, bleh.